Good day and welcome to a new video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe!
Hey and welcome, it's me Daniel. I'm an illustrator here from New Zealand creating children's books kind of a thing and doing these YouTube videos. Feel free to subscribe. I create 2 videos a week. One's usually a weekly tips, another one is just me streaming for like 45 minutes ish, usually with an artist, but it depends. I've been quite busy lately, so it's been hard to find artists out there that are willing to do these chats. But you know, I'm happy to share what I know, my knowledge, thoughts that go in my head, that will help you guys to grow and, you know, expand your knowledge in art and illustration and things like that. And I've done it for so long, so I like to share as much as I know. I find new things that inspire me and help me along the way. And there's also new challenges in my life that do come up that might be helpful to someone else. For instance, like me having a kid in the last year has been very challenging. Towards doing my art as well and trying to keep up with it. Running this YouTube channel has been a bit of a learning curve, and you know, it's always interesting to keep up with. And yeah, it's been really cool to do that, do these videos each week, and yeah, I enjoy creating it. So you might have seen the title of this video. So basically, you wouldn't see it now, but you see it on the YouTube video. Is, you know, how I prepare myself for Inktober, which is coming up. It's only, you know, a couple of days away, about 3 or 4 days away. It's, well, here it's the 28th, and you know, it's 4 or 5 days away, depending on where you are and when you're actually listening to this. You know, it may come out, you know, tomorrow or something. It's probably going to come out tonight anyway. But, you know, depending where you're listening to this anyway, hopefully you do listen to this before Inktober. I mean, it's very close, like a couple days, like I say. But if you don't, it's fine. You can still, I think you can still take away what I say and have a good go at Inktober. It's only if you want. I mean, it's not for everyone. I mean, I started about probably 3 or 4 years ago doing Inktober. I don't know how long it's actually gone on for. I know Jake Parker created it quite a while back. I think it might have been like 2016 or something he created it. I mean, I don't know all the things about it, but I know it's big. So, yeah, you know, I started out just as doing it to try and get my work out there a little bit more. Excuse me. And also to just, yeah, try inks a little bit more, do some drawings. You know, I started out just kind of doing it every day. I was already doing daily drawings. So basically it was just still doing those daily drawings, except I was inking them in the end. So it didn't really change my schedule too much. I mean, a little bit because I had to ink it at the start. I kind of did it with natural inks. Well, I think the first year I didn't do it with natural inks, but the second year I did actually use ink and a wooden bamboo pen kind of thing that was pre-made for me, sharpened and everything, because my teacher had bamboo wood and she sharpened all of us bamboo pens to use in inking for illustration, to trial it out, to encourage us to do, you know, more than just digital art, to make some digital or traditional ink drawings, which was really fun. It was awesome, and I kept that. I used it quite a bit, and also used a few other methods of inking as well after that. Yeah, so, that's where I started. And then, for that, I decided to do, I think I did merge creatures, but they were like chimeras, so it was half dog, half cat, or whatever. There were more chimera kind of creatures that I was doing at the time, because I was also doing the 100-day challenge, I think, where I was splicing 100. For the 100 days, I was doing something creative for 100 days. So, it fell in that, like Inktober fell in that. I wanted to do Inktober as well. So I decided for those 31 days of that challenge, I would do them in ink as well. So it was kind of the extra bonus. I was doing 2 challenges at once. For the 100 days I was splicing animals together, creating creatures and things, which was really interesting. And then the next year I did dragons, which was awesome as well. I did dragons, and I turned one of the dragon inks into an actual painting as well, which was cool. I like to do that. I felt though I was trying to just create something interesting every day. And just trying to tackle things. And trying to tackle problems that I have, that's kind of why I do it in Inktober. Kind of do it to advance my skills, get better at my skills. Even sometimes I need to go back to the drawing board. Like for instance with this painting here, I had to go back to the drawing board again because I was just getting real frustrated with how this was turning out. I came back, this painting that I'm doing now, I've kind of did it 6 months ago, and then now I've come back to paint on top of it, to edit it, and I didn't like how the pose was, so I tried a few poses and I wasn't happy. In the end I had to be like, well no, I need to draw it in a sketchbook again, so I went back to a sketchbook, draw the pose quite a few times, and found the pose that I wanted, so I decided on a pose, and then took that in from my sketchbook into Photoshop by taking a picture, and that helped it like tons. That was the pose. It wasn't pushed so far that it's not gonna fit in the scene. Like a couple of the poses I tried just didn't work, or it was too for instance, like this pose here that I'm painting up, I felt it looks a little bit like he's angry. This new one, he's a little bit too angry or frustrated or something, where I wanted him to be like really scared of this scary cat that was coming up in the scene, so that's how I tackled it. For Inktober, I tackle problems that I have, instead of just being all over the place the whole year. I tackle problems as they come. Like if I felt like I have issues with drawing humans, I just kind of do it over time. I just be like, this week I'm going to focus on drawing some humans, or today I'm going to draw some humans, and then the next day I'm going to do some design stuff, some character stuff, and then the next day I'm going to design this and that. With Inktober, I have to pick something for the 31 days to help me. Because if I don't, then it's like I've got no ideas. You get into that whole routine of the 31 days, but you've got nothing to work on. You're like, I'm not too sure what to do today, and you're kind of just going at it. And that's where a lot of people do kind of give up on it. They struggle. They may have the first few days sorted of what they want to do. They may be using the prompts and things like that, but they still don't know like what are they going to do with that prompt, or they might not have any ideas. So they struggle to get through it, and then, that leads to them giving up on it, because, they struggle so much with it that they're like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. Which is not good, But it's all up to you, If you want to do it, you do it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I do recommend you have a go. I mean, I understand if you don't have the time. But, if you feel like you want to get better at inking or something, in particular, for me, this year, I'm focusing on sharpening my blade, so getting better at illustrating creatures. I love creatures, love drawing animals, but I feel like that I do struggle a little bit with creating creatures, making them feel like real new creatures rather than half dog, half cat. Sometimes, sometimes I can do it well, but not all the time, so I feel like I can struggle with trying to create creatures that feel like a new creature has been discovered, down in the depths of the bottom of New Zealand or something, or the depths of the sea, or exploring another planet, you found a new alien. This creature looks like a new creature that has been found. It doesn't feel like it's a half dog, half cat. Woo, it doesn't feel like some Frankenstein thing, and that's where I feel I struggle a little bit. And also, trying to not just side view my creatures as well. I tend to like side views really easy. It's really easy to have a side view of something, but actually putting it into a pose in a scene, it's quite struggling unless you have kind of a lot of reference. I mean, that's fine, there's nothing wrong with reference, but yeah, trying to capture the poses all the time and trying to get this creature looking like he's doing something, or a bit more appealing, tells a story of what this creature, or who this creature is, what this creature does, where it lives. Just trying to paint a little bit more of a picture rather than this is a creature, and being like, okay, well, he has an interesting nose, he has a big claws, he has giant legs. Telling a little bit more of a story, telling where he lives, what he does, what he eats, just giving you guys, the viewers, and everyone, let them know what this creature is exactly, not just that, he has big claws and things like that. So that's kind of the things I'm tackling, and preparing for that is interesting. At the moment I've been doing a lot of drawing of reference of animals. I'm building a reference library at the moment, so I've got a big reference library. I mean, it's not too big, but it's getting there. It's got like different categories in each thing, so that it's got, humans, dogs, cats. I want to add plants as well, and I've got bugs in there, but I'm always adding to it too. If I think, oh, well, I'm missing this, then, like plants, I don't have plants there at the moment. So, when I've got the time, I will add to it. But usually I'll do it project to project. So, per se, with this project, it's mostly based around hedgehogs and cats, and also a bit of fruit and background and things like that. So it's got those elements in it, so those elements I can then add to my reference library, so I can pull from those when I'm creating this project as well. So it can be very helpful to do it that way. And if I've got a project coming up where I'm painting a dog shark, so that will strengthen me putting some reference into my dog category and my shark category, and things like that. So just do it, thing to thing, to project. And also water, I've got with that scene, it involves being in a sea. It involves water because he is a dog shark, so he'd be swimming in the sea. So in his pose, he's in the sea. So it's got a bit of that I'll be adding to. So yeah, I've been drawing a lot of animals, creating my own creatures as well. I've been looking over the words as well for Inktober. It's nice to, some people just kind of, on the first day, they look at the first word, and then the second day, they look at the second word. But for me, because I've done it before, I've done Inktober, and I've been through the whole process, I understand, what it takes to prepare for it and how to get actually through it. I've been through it the whole 31 days. I haven't obviously created the best pieces in the world, but for me, that's not what it's about. It's not about making 31 awesome artworks. And I think that's where people kind of get a bit run down by it. In their first week or their first few drawings, they get run down really quickly because they are putting 100% into this project, on their first days, running a marathon. They're running a marathon, but they're sprinting at the start, and then you feel tired the whole way through the rest of the marathon. You've just got to pace it day by day, and do what you want to do. Not just worry about, I'm going to do this awesome ink because I want to get 1 million views from doing ink drawings every day. For me, I'm definitely focused on improving my skills, just trying to create a drawing a day. It gives me that instant gratification that I'm got a ink drawing that I did today. So I'm like, woo, every day it's like, yes, I did a ink drawing. This is what I've achieved today. Kind of a feeling every day for those 31 days. It does take a little effort, but I don't sprint at it, obviously. I'm not like the first day trying to make the most magnificent piece in the world. The second day and the third day, it's like, I feel so tired. I don't know if I can do it. Let's see what I can do. Now I give up. I go at it. I try and create something out of that word. And obviously some days I don't feel that great about doing it, but I just do it. And I end up with something okay in the end anyway. Obviously there are some days in the inks that are better than others, because one, I've maybe got a better idea, I may have spent more time on it, I've tried something new sometimes, I've tried to put a little bit more detail or try to render it a bit better, every day. So mixing it up does help too. With the dragons, I was at the start trying to do all the scaling and everything like that, but then it was like, nah, I don't want to do all the scaling. I kind of want to make sure I can do this every day. That's the thing too, is what you can achieve, because I've also got to think about my YouTube videos here. I do 2 a week, and I don't want to stop that because I'm doing Inktober. I want to decide when the time is for that. The best time for me is my lunch break to do the ink drawings. And I also have 2 breaks as well that I can use. But obviously those are shorter breaks, and I only pretty much get to have a coffee and a biscuit or something, or something to eat. So I've got to decide when to do that, and the best time for me is the lunch break. And that's roughly about, I get an hour, but I've got lunch to eat, and then I've got 45 minutes to actually, draw and also ink as well, depending on how I do it. Usually what I do is I come up with the idea like the night before, the day before, or something like that, and then I draw the final sketch on the day and do the ink as well. That's usually how I go, and that's the way I kind of do things, so that I'm not spending all that time coming up with the idea. I don't want to spend 45 minutes coming up with the idea and then coming home and it cutting into my YouTube creating time, or any other time. For you, you might have those things, like you don't want it to cut into your work time, you don't want it to cut into your personal painting time as well. But if for the 31 days you don't mind it cutting into your personal painting time, because it is an ink drawing, it's your personal drawing anyway, there's nothing wrong with that either. But for me, I can't afford to make it cut into this painting time. I need to do it on the side as well, as an extra thing. So that's why I've got to make it my lunchtime kind of thing. Obviously there are challenges with that. There are usually my Fridays where I do go out for lunch, usually, and those kind of things that do pop up, or something like next Friday I'll be going, I won't have lunch, and then I'd have my 4 hours after that, so, I won't actually get that lunch break next Friday, so I actually have to either decide to do it before then, or like quickly do it at home or something, in that, time that I will get to paint and things like that. But yeah, I've got to make up decisions either on the day or the night before, something of how I'm going to go about it, like maybe do the final sketch for that in the previous lunch break, so I just have to quickly ink it. I mean, I don't mind bringing it home to quickly ink it, that is fine, as long as it's only like 5 or 10 minutes, usually it only takes me 10 to 15 minutes-ish to actually ink the whole drawing once I've got the final sketch and how I'm going to do it. It doesn't take me too long just to ink it, so I don't mind just inking it at home, but I don't want to come home with no idea and then, me having to generate the idea, actually have to draw it, and then have to ink it as well. Otherwise it's going to take like 2 or 3 hours. It's going to take all the time I have out of my night times, which is going to strain this channel, and that's what I've got to keep pushing at lunch times to keep doing. I'm definitely next week, because it starts on Tuesday. I've got Monday, so Monday lunch I'll be going through the first day's idea, creating the first day's idea, and then getting it prepared for inking on the Tuesday, and then I'll ink it on the Tuesday, and then I'll follow that process. So I'm kind of started day early in a way, to keep on top of it. And yeah, it is a marathon. It's a big thing, but it's only for 31 days, and that's why I kind of like it. It's not forever, but it is a long time. It's a while, and yeah, it does really help me. It's taught me so much. Doing these inks, I have learnt a little bit more about drawing humans and characters. I'm less worried about getting their anatomy perfect. I want their anatomy perfect, obviously, but I'm less worried about that, more worried about how the pose is, how the character feels, getting all of that across, because I feel that's really important. It's helped me with, like, even doing this book, trying to capture the characters and everything like that. It's been really helpful to try and do that as well, trying to get all the poses right for the characters, trying to make the feeling and everything, tell a story, right, rather than having it an atomically correct. I try as close as I can to get atomically correct though, as well. But obviously with this book, I don't have to worry too much. I just need it to follow the character, how the character in each page, what he would look like in that pose, and make sure that it fits. It doesn't look like a different character, or like his back leg has been pulled a bit backwards, or something like that. The character still feels like him. It still feels like Henry the Hedgehog. It still feels like the scary cat here. The cat doesn't really have a name in this book. It's just, a scary cat. Black scary cat. It doesn't really have a name. It doesn't say anything. He just chases this hedgehog around. But he is a strong character. There's only two characters in this book, which is really cool. I like that. It's about him, his fruit that he loves, his kiwi fruit, and the cat, the scary cat. So he's got to look, very fearsome, and capturing that pose was quite a challenge as well. Try to make him look like he's hitting at the hedgehog, and looking very frightening for him. So those are the kind of things that helped with. So I always think about doing it. It's like these challenges on ArtStation as well. I've done some character design challenges. I felt doing that, it was very struggling to keep it up. I've done a few nights where I stayed up 10 o'clock finishing the piece the night before, for some of the character designs. So it was a struggle to keep up with, but it was worth it in the end. I felt like I've gotten my characters way better than I would have if I didn't do it. It's the same with Inktober. It doesn't really, a little bit affects, me inking traditionally, how I do it and things like that. It's meant to be that it gets you better at inking drawings. Which, it's a cool challenge for doing that, and it's fine to do it that way, to try and get better at inking every day. But for me, I'm not too, my work isn't really ink drawings that much. I do like ink drawings, but I prefer just to try and grow something better in Inktober. So, I mentioned a few things of how I prepare. So, this year I can bring reference with me, because in the last 2 years, I don't know where I could end up. I was working casually, so I could end up, being on the side of the road or something, working, or I could end up not being home till certain hours. I could end up actually not having a break even, some days, really bad or something like that, or I could end up here or there, so I couldn't bring reference. I could have my sketchbook and my ink pen or something, but that's pretty much it. Now I've got use of a tablet, I've got my sketchbook. I can bring also my ink book as well. So I've got my ink book, my sketchbook, and also I've got access to all the reference that I do gather. So if I do need to use reference, it's there. So I'm not worried about drawing without reference as much, because 2 years because I was drawing a lot with reference. I was drawing reference all the time. I was pushing away from that and trying to draw without reference a little bit, trying to use what I grow in my reference library and trying to draw that. And yeah, this month I've been growing that reference library, because it's much better to grow your reference library in your head. Drawing it, if you draw a hedgehog like 20 times or something, you'll be able to draw it again at some point, you build that up over time. That's how I've been preparing for it. So, and I've also got all those sketches in my sketchbook, so I have access to that. So if I do want to be like, well, there's actually, this word of Inktober, I've actually drawn a creature in my sketchbook that I'd like to pull out and create something, an ink drawing with it, so I've got that reference of something I've already drawn that I can push further and create an awesome ink with it as well. So I've got access to that too, which is awesome to do. It's like it's like running a marathon, for 31 days. You got to keep on it, keep on track, and just keep going. I ran a marathon probably 6 or 7 years ago, a 48-hour marathon that I did, and we were raising funds for like canteen, I think, at the time. I think they do it for canteen every year. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's basically you get sponsored to run the marathon for 48 hours. And yeah, we were in teams. So our teams were sponsored, and you run to get the most runs and things like that. But yeah, obviously if you keep sprinting, you're gonna run out your fuel pretty quickly, and then you won't be able to race. But I paced it, and I ran a lot, in those 48 hours. I did more than I needed to. But it's what I kind of wanted to do. Yeah, and it was right for me to do it, I guess. I over-pushed my body, obviously. The next few days I was really tired, really sore all over. But it was a great experience to have. Yeah, so, I've lived through that. Doing marathons and sprints. But yeah, I've lived through Inktober for a few years, and I've actually gone through it. I know quite a few artists that have tried it and not kind of done it the whole way, or that have done it the whole way. I know a few artists that have done it the whole way. Or some that's really struggle to get through. There's a lot of people out there that do struggle to get through the whole Inktober. And to me, that's fine. Everyone to their own. There are things that pop up, like, you may not have a job, or you may not have a lot to do in October at some point, and then all of a sudden, you get really busy, and you have to decide to stop Inktober because you need that time to do other stuff, which is absolutely fine. But if it's something important, you think it's going to help you, because I feel like Inktober can help you, and it's any which way or form. It was created basically to get better at ink, and because October has the most days in the year, it was just the thing that Inktober was going to be a thing. It was that Jake Parker wanted to get better at inks, so he decided because October was coming up. It was 31 days, so he would do it for 31 days, which would get him better at inking, which was awesome. And now he does it all the time, which is, it's great to see. And he does, he creates videos about it all the time, which is cool. He's an awesome guy, He chats about a lot. Can go check out his channel, Jake Parker. He's an awesome YouTuber. Well, I'm not sure how many videos he's doing now, but he used to do quite a bit of videos. But I think he's less regular now. I'm not too sure. I don't keep up with all of his content. I just, back then when I was learning a lot, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. These days I don't get a lot of time to watch YouTube. I get some time, but not all the time in the world. And mostly I do like to watch like the schoolism stuff, because it's got a lot of awesome artists. It's kind of the thing I want to be doing, like talking with artists and things that I do. So it does help me to watch those, see what questions and how they go about their interviews, to think about how I do my interviews, and chats and things like that. I do watch some others, some other YouTubers and artists and things like that, every now and again, but then I try my best to watch schoolism as well, the schoolism online courses that I like to keep up with, to try and advance my skills that way as well. So it is, balancing curve. I can't watch all the YouTubers in the world. Sometimes I just want to watch entertainment, but I try and stick away from that as much as I can, because if I'm watching entertainment, well, I could be watching a schoolism course. It's the same thing, it's, with Inktober, there is time. It's only for 31 days, so what you could do is stop watching Netflix for 31 days, and do your Inktober drawings, or stop playing video games for 31 days and do your Inktober drawings. That's the way to think about it. If you think you have no time, well, maybe try something else. I used to, at school, when I was trying to get better at drawing and just doodling and really like to draw, I would pretty much give up my lunch break. I would not have lunch at all, pretty much. I would just draw through my lunch break, because I just didn't like school. I just liked drawing. So yeah, that's what I did for lunch. I drew something, I created something, or did some of my art homework or graphic design homework or something like that during my lunch break. I may have something to eat, but usually what I did is I did all my work, go home, have something to eat, like semis and things like that, and then keep drawing. So, I sacrificed a lot of time to those things, so I didn't have a lunch break. I actually drew most of the lunch break, or did some homework or something like that. So yeah, I gave up that because I wanted to get better at it. It's the same thing. It's like giving up your Netflix or giving up your TV show that you watched. I gave up watching this soap, Home and Away, because it was I kept up watching it. I got too far and it was nah, I gotta keep working on my YouTube channel at this time. It was becoming that I was actually, stopping at 5:30 every day, where I could have kept going for another half an hour of painting just to watch this show. But thanks for joining me. If you did join me, I really do appreciate it. Feel free to hit the like button, subscribe button. If you would like to know more, feel free to comment any questions you have. I don't mind answering you guys or giving you any feedback if you are participating in Inktober, feel free to, write down below that you are doing Inktober. What are you doing to prepare for Inktober? Are you doing anything to prepare for Inktober? Has any of the words that I have said helped you think about how you're going to prepare for it? Is it too late? Are you going to get into Inktober and be like, oh, now I'm doing Inktober, and then you'll be rushing around doing it? I feel it does take as much time to prepare as it takes to actually do it. Making sure that you have all the pens that you need, all the paper that you need, all those things. Just make sure everything's ready for the day, so that on the first day you're not hunting around at the store trying to find a pen, trying to find all your art books that you're going to draw in, your reference for the ideas, what you're actually going to do. Jake Parker did last year, I think it was last year, he did 31 days of his robots, and trying to suss out what you're going to do, because having the words is awesome, but how you're going to use those words as well is challenging. If you have the word apple, you might just draw an apple, but if you have the word like frightened, you can show that in many ways. So having a kind of theme around it, like you could do Halloween, because Halloween's coming up. You could do 31 days of Halloween, which is fine, and you do Halloween in those 31 days, which is fine, and you use those words, or you can make your own words. There's nothing wrong with the way you do it. It's how you use it to better yourselves, whether it's trying to get better or trying to get 31 awesome drawings out there for people to see. But just think about how you prepare for it and everything like that. So thanks for joining me. If you did join me, we'll see you in the next videos. Have a good one. Goodbye.